ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Nordic Championship. We're here on the final day of the regular season. My name is Jake Hitbrain Matthews, and I am joined by Dan Orcs Harrison. What a roller coaster it has been, and we still have a few more bumps, turns, and corkscrews to go through before we get out of this one. So, Orcs, how are you feeling going in today? I'll ask you in a minute about what we're looking at and what the potential upsets are. But how are you feeling right now?
I'm good. I'm hyped. We still have a lot of stakes on the last day, and that's the important thing. Teams still playing for everything, and that makes it a lot more exciting to watch and to go through.
Yeah. Well, let's have a little look at the points so then Orcs can properly break down what means what. So bringing up the standings here, Vipers at the top, 10-3. Team Singularity, 9-4 in the standings. Nordic 7-6. Dusty 7-6. Hillerod 7-6. Hybrid and Bifrost both on 5-8. And Atlando all the way at the bottom with 2-11. And they're going to be rounding out their season here in pretty rough state.
Yeah, and we can take a look at the schedule, and I can sort of run down what these matches mean. So game one doesn't actually have any implications for playoff standing. It's just an opportunity for Bifrost to try and get a point and move up above Hybrid if possible. Second match, Hillerod looking to win this one if they want to keep in contention for playoffs. Right now, as you saw, 3 teams at 7 points. Only 2 of them will go through the playoffs. The next one up is Nordic, who play against Vipers, and Dusty, who play against Singularity. So Nordic, Dusty, and Hillerod all looking to pick up a point to guarantee a spot at least in a tiebreaker. If all 3 of them win their matches, it'll be a 3-way tiebreaker. If all 3 of them lose, still a 3-way tiebreaker. But if anyone wins and anyone loses, that's where people start to guarantee spots. We will definitely have a tiebreaker. Those aren't going to be played on stream, but obviously we'll be posting the results on our Twitter, DreamHack LOL, so you can keep updated. Now, there's also the battle for first place between Vipers and Singularity. And basically, Singularity are definitely on the back foot. They need to catch up in points. So not only do they need to win, they need Vipers to lose. If they do that, they'll be tied at 10 points. And Singularity, thanks to their 2 wins against Vipers, hold a head-to-head advantage and will move up in the first. But obviously, not only do they have to win their match, but for Vipers to lose as well, pretty big ask.
Yeah, I think if we look at like the current standings, who's playing who, Hybrid versus Hillerod is obviously for Hillerod. It's probably arguably the easier game of the teams currently looking to get a win. Obviously, that's kind of on paper, just going off the kind of records of these teams. But your face has already told me you don't fully agree with that statement.
Based on their recent form, based on what Hybrid did yesterday, I'm honestly not even convinced that's the sort of situation we're looking at. We saw a really dominant performance from them up against Dusty of all teams. Dusty in 4th place, who are looking convincing in their recent form, had their first 2 a week when they've been played by 1-1s for a while, and they went down a Hybrid. So I really don't think they're a pushover. They're only 1 point, well, 2 points but 1 spot below Hillerod. This could actually be a rough matchup all in all, because as much as Singularity and Vipers have obviously looked great, they've had their hiccups. They've had their moments where they've been challenged. We've seen Nordic challenge Singularity. We've seen Vipers challenged by Bifrost and Singularity as well. Yeah. These teams aren't infallible, and I think the big thing is that all 3 of these matches, you can go away from it and think, maybe this one's easier, maybe this one's easier. Stylistically, there's this matchup. But neither of them are like pushover matchups, and I definitely think you can argue they could go either way, and it's going to have massive impacts, because worst case scenario for one of these 3 teams is you lose your match and the other 2 teams win, and then you're just straight out of playoffs. There is no second chances. There's no tiebreaker. If you're that one team left at the bottom, obviously if another team loses a game, then you can play a tiebreaker against them, but that still puts it a bit on the line. Ideally, for Nordic, for Dusty, for Hillerod, you need the win today just to keep things as secure as possible.
Well, let's move swiftly on to our first game of the day. It's going to be Bifrost versus Atlando now. This game doesn't lean quite so much. Both of these teams, unfortunately, are out of the running, so maybe we're expecting a bit of a clown fiesta, although Atlando yesterday, we kind of thought they were going to...
Whoa. Every Atlando game is a clown fiesta.
Okay. And yesterday we expected a non-serious clown fiesta, and we actually got a very serious game from them. Sure, they didn't win, but they were still kind of constantly fighting and looking for their plays on the map.
I think for me, is there's still a lot of pride at play. I think the players from Atlando want to show their best performance, and they did that yesterday. It was a close one up against Hillerod. It would have been a massive upset if they took that, because it essentially would have made it very difficult for Hillerod to have made playoffs. They would have been more reliant reliant on other teams losing. And it was close. Atlando got massively far ahead. Jacob and Thor had great games, but in the later stages, they weren't able to close out in their team fights, and they started to make some mistakes that have sort of led them to be 8th place in the league right now. Up against Bifrost, this is a matchup that they could potentially take. If they have a showing like yesterday, but they close it out better, keep that level up for the whole game, they could be in a good position to take this. And yes, it doesn't mean they'll get playoffs. It doesn't really change the situation in the league, but it's a big confidence boost for these players who are still looking to continue their careers beyond just this split.
Alrighty, well, we're into the picks and bans. The Riven, the Set, and the Philios all banned away from the side of Atlando. Fiala not getting his signature Riven, while Bifrost, they're looking more towards the serious standard bans here. The Syndra and the Ornn taken away from them. Now, they could look to... Well, they're going to have to leave the center open, which is something we've seen quite a lot as a blue side ban, because you don't really want to just give over the MF and then kind of move down.
I don't think it's as big of a problem. I think you can ban the center. Misfortune isn't as high a priority as other people have sort of shown. Ezreal, Varus both being sort of traded off with her. Aphelios is the top tier in terms of scaling. Senna is just frustrating to play against, and I feel like those two do pull ahead of the Misfortune. Now, I've seen the Gragas quickly locked in for Jolbu. I actually saw Shackle saying to Jolbu in the Champ Select, Lee Sin Gragas. So I think they might have agreed on this beforehand, but Gragas and Lee Sin, it does favor the Gragas, but because you can interrupt your Sonic Wave, your recast, but there's still a lot that Lee Sin can do to play around. The interesting thing, though, is this Kalista. It is a flex pick, can go in the bot lane, can go top lane, as we've seen from the Shy. So adds that element of flexibility that Atlando now have to play against. I expect to see just Xayah Rakan here. Fred is a great Rakan. It's the champion he's had the most success on, a driving force in their 2 wins.
And you could see, for the side of Bifrost now, as their kind of answer is something like the Fresh, it's super hard to kind of punish the Kalista Fresh lane. Now, this could still technically be Kalista top lane, but we'll see. We'll see for the moment. But if we're going off this being a Kalista bot lane, the Kalista Fresh is fantastic. Fresh has a good matchup into the Rakan as well. For the moment, Bifrost actually looking to lock in the Draven. So it is Kalista top lane. Takes it, gets his kind of signature champion here. For Bifrost, I think they're having a little bit of fun in this game.
And this pick has been banned away from Takesat quite a bit, so that he gets the opportunity to play it. He picks it up in the first rotation before we see the next layer of bans, so it allows him to get something that he is comfortable on and could potentially challenge the Xayah Rakan, because you have that movement speed from the Blood Rush. You can just walk out of, well, I mean, essentially you're running with the Blood Rush out of the Rakan W, and then just continue to trade onto Thor. It depends what the support is, and we're seeing Atlando already starting to target those with the Thresh band away. Aatrox denied away from Andreas. Potentially Bifrost may look to take a high priority top laner. Actually, no, they already have their Kalista top laner, what I'm talking about. Might look to just deny things away from Andreas to answer the Kalista top. In all honesty, I feel like Aatrox would have a rough time, but Yasuo is something that would go mid lane and pair up with the Gragas quite well.
Yeah, so now we're seeing Bifrost. It's over to them. The Nautilus and the Fresh band away. 2 things would do pretty well into that Rakan. The likes of the Leona is still being left open, though, so you feel like Pedersen could pick that up here, unless he wants to go for something a little bit different. And it looks like he's thinking about it. We'll see what he decides to lock in here to kind of round out Bifrost comp, and they are going to go for the Alistair, so a little bit of a weaker level 1, but...
Here's the question.
All right.
Who does Fiala bind to? Because typically we see him bind to the jungler.
Yeah, right?
You bind to an Alistair, right? Sure, you don't have the instant power spike at level 6, but in team fights, you can throw the Alistair in, which is just such a strong... I guess we'll see. Typically it is the junglers, but maybe we see something different here, because I feel like Alistair benefits more because you throw him in for the knockup, he then follows up with a pulverize, whereas Lee Sin essentially has to use that time to go for a kick onto one target rather than the AoE CC. But we see the Zoe come in, pretty strong blind that we typically expect, and they're hovering for what to do in the top lane. Now, Nasus might seem like a little bit of a troll pick, but this actually works into the Kalista. But instead, they're going to go in a different direction. They go for the Pantheon. So just about the Nasus thing, the reason it works is the Wither just essentially stuns you because your attack speed gets reduced so much. But the Pantheon works in the fact that it's a point-and-click stun. Doesn't matter how much you dodge about and jump around as the Kalista, the Pantheon presses W and you are CC'd. So that's an opportunity for Andreas to potentially set up for Jolbu to come top. But we are looking towards the mid lane for energy right now. There's a lot of options.
He's going to lock in the Karthus. Okay, so that's Karthus mid lane.
Not seen that in a while at all, really, ever.
Yeah, not for a very, very long time I've seen a Karthus mid lane.
No, and into the Zoe. essentially it's just avoiding getting one shot. And then you have your R late to scale up. So a lot to take away from this draft. I feel like this isn't the sort of typical draft we see from Bifrost. I think obviously the stakes aren't as high in this game, but it's still one where obviously both teams looking to win this one out. Have a lot of fun at the same time.
I was last year when Dark Harvest got kind of reworked at the beginning of the season. There were quite a few people talking about Karthus into certain matchups. People like Faker and Froggen were swearing that Karthus actually was pretty decent into LeBlanc early level because of the lane shove. But Zoe's also got the AoE clear, the kind of cleave damage with her Q. But what if you want to try and just push in Jacob early, you run up to the caster minions, you spam Q on them, take them out, then quickly clear out the front wave, and you shove that wave into Jacob and force him under. And then you can afford Shackle a lot of kind of lane priority mid lane, and you can always roam around the map. Obviously,
you can always reset as well. You got TP, you can pick up an item advantage and repeat that. The mana you expend on shoving can be replaced. And the reason that works so successfully is the caster minions do a lot more damage than the melee minions in the early lane. So when you actually look at how much they do, each auto from a caster is about as much as a champion auto attack early. So when those 3 casters are hammering away, it's like 2 people auto attacking when combined with a champion. So if you clear those out quickly, yes, there's still the tanky melee minions, but your wave damage is still more considerable, and it just allows you to push in. And yes, Zoe isn't in as bad a spot as a LeBlanc, but she's still going to struggle to CS under tower unless Gragas can come and assist, which may be something they look for, and Shackle might have to try and counter, which can be difficult into the Gragas as a Lee Sin, but there's definitely opportunity for it, especially if his body slam is down.
And so expectations kind of coming into this is we feel like Energy should be able to kind of at least early shove in the mid lane. Top side, it's a range versus melee, so realistically, you'd expect Fiala to do well there. Obviously, there is the potential for a good gank, though. The combination between Jolbu and Andreas with the Gragas Pantheon combo onto a Kalista could just be pure doom for Fiala. And then take Set and Pedersen, they also want to be very aggressive early. It's a Draven, he naturally pushes, so on paper, there's a lot of pushing lanes here for Bifrost, and that's what I'm kind of excited to see, is we are taking to the Rift. The last day of the regular season is taking underway here. It's Atlando versus Bifrost.
Yeah, he did bind with the Lee Sin. It is the kind of expected thing, but for a second I was thinking maybe they go for the stronger team fight later on, but ultimately, one the level 6 combo they can utilize in tandem with that top lane jungle.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Bifrost going for a pretty heavy engage and invade, in this situation. The level 1 is actually extremely good. Karthus, so much consistent damage at level 1. And then you have like the AoE of the Alistair, you have the Kalista and the Draven who can just consistently auto attack. So a lot of respect given over by Atlando, but they're going to counteract this by putting a ward down on the red buff of Bifrost. I think Jolbu now resetting, he's going to head over to his red and just pick that up himself. But there's some good vision laid down, so they should have a good idea of his path. Jolbu has picked up a sweep on the way back, although I think he won't get both of these wards. Even if he does sweep walking through, probably unlikely that he's going to sweep up to the Raptor camp and clear that one out, although maybe they have the vision of where they placed it. We'll see. But sweeper not quite up before they start the camp, so it'd have to be off that, and the information's still going to be handed over.
Counter ward has been placed on the top side, though, so junglers, everyone knows where the junglers are starting, at least in this game.
And I feel like that favors Bifrost, because in the isolated 1v1 in mid and top, they win. If there isn't any jungle pressure, Energy, as you said, can shove in. Fiala can look to just harass Andreas. And so knowing the location of the Gragas does put you in a good spot. Sweeper does get used there by Jolbu, and he does clear out that ward, but he doesn't get the one further below. So if he does loop round back to his Krugs, he will be seen. Or in fact, in this situation, the fact that he is not seen is still information. So about now, you'd expect him to pass over that ward down towards his Krugs if he was going in that direction. So they now definitely know he's on the top side. Warning ping just came out on the blue buff. They're very much aware of it. So Energy isn't actually shoving in too hard. He's letting it push into him. And Fiala places down a ward. So the solo laners of Bifrost using that information well.
Yeah, Energy actually not looking to overtake the lane too quickly here. Now, the top lane Kalista, we've seen a few kind of different builds coming out. Is it going to be the attack speed more when you're alone item? I can't remember the name of it. The lethality one.
Another one you mean, but...
What the hell is that item called? Got introduced this season.
Sanguine Blade.
Sanguine Blade.
got there in the end. And Fiala have to play safe. He has a vision. He's aware of that, but Shackle's going to try and...
Yeah, he's been caught out though here. Gonna have to ward hop away. Our big Krug still lives, so Atlando actually forcing Shackle out. Shackle still has smite though, but there's no camps really for him to clear out now, and does give Takeset some time to kind of free farm in the bot lane. Jolbu is gonna steal away the chicken successfully, so overall a net gain here for Atlando, but
oh, they're going back for a
Bifrost,
dive.
they want to punish them here. This could be a pretty interesting dive. You got the Carthus for the resurrection.
They don't actually see them on that ward as well, so they think they have some sort of protection. Alistair great in these early dives, Carthus as well. They should be looking to get a double kill. Can they trade back?
That's the Wall of Pain. Gonna get the knock up. Comes through from Fred as well. 4 is low, and First Blood given over to Takeset. He's not gonna find the double. Energy gets the next one as he flashes away. Andreas looks to clear the wall. He finds himself the kill. Now the Ghost can put some damage into Andreas. He's dodging away a lot of these abilities, and the Wall of Pain is not gonna get used. Now they jump in forward. Shackle comes down. Pedersen's tanking the tower, and Takeset finds his second. Jacob's closing in though. Misses out on the bubble, and Takeset will send him packing. Clean dive by Bifrost.
Beautifully dived, beautiful aggro juggling, and this is the power of being able to have priority. Realistically, I feel like Thorn Fred should have looked to shove that lane in, but they were concerned about Shackle. They went to contest his invade on the Raptors, and as a result, Takeset and Pedersen were able to crash the wave. They bring the Carthus down, who's quickly able to achieve priority with his wave clear, and the reward is 3 kills to 1. 2 of them on the Draven, who already has a BF sword. This is disastrous for Atlando already, especially when you look at the discrepancy top, because Andreas TP'd down. He's burned his TP, he's burned his flash. Fiala got some alone time. Yes, Andreas is up in gold because of the kill, but he is down in terms of XP. Fiala is able to reset now, come back in the lane. Just all round, it's a rough situation. The Kalista now with TP advantage as well. Bifrost, a really great start there.
Yeah, really solid. You can see, obviously, with those items coming in, Takeset has got himself a nice lead, an extra longsword as well. On top of that, and overall, net gains here for the side of Bifrost.
And look at how the wave is right now. It's shoving towards Bifrost, and Takeset, even though Draven typically does shove in because you're trying to keep the axes going, he's doing his best to ensure that it keeps shoving this way. Thorn Fred will have to overextend, put themselves in a very precarious position, and already Shackle's on the bot side, so he can path over and threaten if needs be. This wave is going to freeze in front of the tower, Bifrost, and it's just a terrible place to be for Thor and Fred, because they can't step up. They're so scared of the Alistair, they're so scared of the pressure. Now what we do see is Jolbu is coming bot lane because he wants to try and crash this wave in and stop this.
Oh, Hex Flash has come down a little bit off there. Takeset does get the stand aside off. He's got the backup of Shackle coming down. Force taking a lot of damage from Takeset. They pull back the feathers, get that burst, but the Requiem is going to come down. Not enough to get the kill. Shackle goes for a quick old switcheroo onto the ward to get away. They do just burn a lot there.
Playing with fire a little bit there, but ultimately the engage was a bit too early there from Pedersen. Shackle wasn't in position, and the Requiem, honestly, pretty ambitious. There was some heavy trading going on top lane, but ultimately no real traction found from the first Requiem, and critically, no Dark Harvest stacks picked up as well. I mean, Energy, I believe, will have gotten a couple there from that dive earlier, but nothing more achieved for that Requiem. He's on 1. It's not even the 2.
Yeah, so that would have been from earlier. As the Cloud Drake is getting started up by Shackle, so he's going to be able to pick that up. And, oh,
nice throw from Jacob.
Fiala just gets killed by Jacob. Good 2v1.
You're not sure on the position there. As you can see, his body is under the enemy tower, which is usually suboptimal. I'll say that.
On your own, yeah.
Up against the Pantheon as well, who's notoriously tricky to dive with his point-and-click stun and his...
Oh, actually, Takeset's going to get a lot of CC on. Uses that stand aside. They get the knock up and Takeset now. Put the damage into 4. Going to get another cash in. Takeset finds his 3rd kill. Jolbu's looking to jump in forward. Stuns up the minion. Jacob flashes away. A fantastic play there as they get themselves another kill. Jacob, though, does take out Shackle. So Jacob really starting to do his best to try and pull this game back for his team.
Yeah, he's popping off, but unfortunate situation in the bot lane. Thorn Fred overstep, and this is the item discrepancy at play. You try and punish the Draven. Draven has a BF sword, now has 2 BF swords. He's gonna punish you, and critically, Jolbu misread on the body slam. He thought he was just in range. He actually had flash. If he flashed at the end of the body slam to secure it, and then threw down the cask, he would have killed Takeset in that situation, gotten the shutdown as well. But ultimately, he misread the distance. Takeset is able to flash away, and ultimately, Bifrost bot lane gets away unpunished, even though Shackle goes down as a result of Jacob.
7 minutes on the clock. A 1,100 gold lead over to Bifrost currently. A double BF sword takes that is bloody terrifying if you're 4 right now. That's the squishy little bird.
And the rough thing is that we look at the items. So the difference between gold for Thor and Takes That is about 1,400, which is just one of those BF swords. It's actually 1,500, slightly more. But critically, Thor's back timings have been so atrocious because of all the times he's died. Look at what he's had to pick up. Double Doran's, double longsword boots. None of those are sort of great items to be sitting on. Obviously, as a crit champion, you want to get that first BF sword as soon as possible. It's been delayed heavily, and I don't think Takes That will lend you one of his BF swords. He's kind of holding on to those for
Well, he's going to throw it at you and then catch it back afterwards. As, that's going to be the flash combo onto Joel with this Grand Starfall. Fiala just flashes away. Going to use the martial cadence to try and put some distance out, but the tower shots are coming down. Andreas will not find the assist, but they do get the kill. Shackle now getting jumped onto, but Energy's just going to come over using that wall of pain, and Fred has to hop away. Good blade cooler means Energy's not going to be able to chase anymore. He has got a blue buster. His mana bar's low, but he could be recovering that as Jacob got cleanse. Looking to see if he can make something happen here. Takes it so scary. He's got both those pool noodles spinning around.
And he's looking for a trouble. Can't capitalize on that, especially with Pedersen and Shackle threatening. He's going to pick up some more plates on the bot side. And this bot lane becoming an issue for Atlando. Now they're looking for Jacob. He's just ulted.
Yeah, but takes it. Oh my lord, that auto attack gets so much damage to Fred. Jacob's looking to try and Fred those paddle stars in. It's going to be a Herald over to Jolbu. Fiala is back, flashless, teleportless, and no one really to help him, so they might just be racing here for first turret blood, but...
Now, the tower's a little high HP, so I'm not sure I completely agree with this play, but I guess they want to throw it down before Energy's TP is available. They made a good play to punish him before, and Fiala responded by not giving over the assist. But now a lot of gold going to be in the pocket of Andreas, thanks to the Herald. But they get in, they use the Herald, get out before there can be a response. And this is why they didn't have optimal Herald usage, because they waited around. You have Energy responding, you have Fiala.
Energy flashed in! So looking for this damage is... Fiala's closing the gap, and Andreas just puts up the ages, and he is fine now. So a lot used there by Energy, just to try and get nothing.
Really ambitious there, in all honesty.
Oh!
That hits!
Oh, that does hurt. Jacob is closing in on the gap. He uses the ultimate from Fiala to make Shackles alive. So we'll have ourselves a quick pause arena here.
Jacob once again just putting the hit down. And this Zoe has been a critical part of the success from Atlando. I feel like without him, this game looks like a very different circumstance, because he's the one who made that roam towards bot lane. He's the one who made that roam, not towards bot lane, towards Shackle when he was invading on the bot side.
Yep.
He's the one who made that roam towards the top side and punished Fiala. I feel like Jolbu's also been doing all right to look to punish on this Gragas. I think you need to, particularly the Callista. There is very much a situation where you can just put this Callista super far behind and just consistently look to punish. Because right now, your bot lane just cannot hold up at all. There is just no chance whatsoever that you're going to compete with this Draven who's so strong.
Well, they're actually looking to see if they can turn this around with Andreas, but he's going to be able to get dodged away for the moment. Jolbu, no flash, does have the cast crucially, and now Jacob having a bit of a fight versus Energy. They do get the kick onto Jolbu. Shackle might just follow this up. Comes in with a body slam, and that's just a 1-for-1.
Andreas actually has flash here. He might be able to kill Fiala at that HP if he gets close to him.
It's quite hard for the martial cadence. As mid lane, actually, there's a fight breaking out, and Jacob just going to walk away with that one, but the Requiem's coming down and Takes It is looking to put the damage in. Jacob is going to live in the mid lane and Takes It unable to close the distance, close that gap, but Pedersen now got the flash, and Takes It's doing some serious damage to this bot lane. Are going to feel the hurt if they step up, as the Draven chunking out 4 already. Gets knocked up by the grand entrance, but they look to turn it back around. Now Force put the damage into Takes It. Finds himself the shutdown. The flash comes out from Pedersen, and he is going to get out of there as Andreas pop the Ghost Blade, looking to see if he can come in top lane onto Fiala. Fiala put some distance in there. Can't get enough off, though, and Andreas just gets himself his third.
I said it. If he gets on top of him, he will kill him with that HP. Just shuts him down. Fiala overstaying quite a bit. Atlando been able to pick up some kills. We saw this again yesterday. Atlando looking a lot better, able to pick up some good kills on these skirmishes, but they weren't able to translate that later on. And we'll see if that'll be a similar situation here. For now, they're going to look towards that Ocean Drake. Shackle, I think he got spotted on that ward.
He did.
Died.
He's also 4 levels lower than Andreas here, but he's going to try and come in and clear out the wave. He's doing a fair amount of damage, but that is a very, very tanky Andreas. He's flashing forward. Shackle flashes away as well. Comes in with a kick, misses out.
Another spear.
Oh, my lordy. Now it looks like Jacob, this is just non-stop action. Jumps in with a portal jump, looks at the paddle star. Energy's going to hold his life for the moment, and Jacob will fall. A shutdown for Energy.
Really nice stun timing from Pedersen. If
We're
he was
not
able...
done. They're still scrapping out here. The cast gets used, and Fred looks for the knock-up. Gets the damage onto Energy. Energy gets picked up by Jolbu. Now he's in the ghost form, trying to get the damage off of the Requiem. Jolbu will take a little bit of return damage here. Bifrost and Atlando are just non-stop scrapping this game.
And they're finding a lot of kills as a result. It's going to accelerate this game pretty heavily, and I feel like this does benefit champions like Karthus, who are going to be more relevant with gold. But we've seen more. Andreas coming in.
Yeah, he's on to Takeset. Takeset's going to look to juggle out that damage. He's got Jolbu coming forward, trying to work around it, but Andreas is just 4 and 1. He's 2 fed, and the Draven goes down a second time. Takeset, no completed items.
And the skirmishing power of this composition of Atlando, the power of the Zoe, the Pantheon, it's coming up huge here, but plate's going down again for in favor of Bifrost, and that's a big reason why they're ahead in gold. They picked up that tower in the bot lane, they have a ton of plates here, they're still up 1,000 gold despite the kill lead being in favor of Atlando.
Fiala does start to hurt, even with just his Sanguine Blade. Now, Shackle in the mid lane, no flash available to him. 4 does not have the Feather Storm for a little bit longer, but would be optimistic with no backup with just your Alistair there, so they're not going to look to go for this. Fiala's clearing out some wards around that Rift Herald, which should be spawning up fairly soon, and next Drake still 3 minutes away, so a long way to go until that comes up. It looks like Fiala just happy just to farm up alone here in the top lane, uncontested for the moment, but people are coming up for him.
Yeah, they're looking just to punish him. They don't have ult for Andreas, though, so this might be a bit ambitious.
Oh, my lord, he does a lot of damage. Fred, looking for that knock-up. Fiala's able to kind of kite it away. Gets caught out by the quickness here. Now he can dodge away from these feathers with that martial cadence, and the stun's going to connect onto the jungler. Fiala's doing a lot of damage to 4. The Requiem's coming down to make sure they're alive. Shackle's going to live. 4 uses the Feather Storm to dodge out, and Andreas is looking for Shackle, looking for Fiala. Fiala's going to get stunned up and locked down. He has to flash away, but in comes Jacob with a paddle star. Finds himself the kill. Fiala's now just dodging away as much as possible, but Jolbu takes him down. Meanwhile, Energy shoves out the mid lane, and the bot lane also getting sieged by Takeset.
So a lot of kills given over again to Atlando. They're able to punish the jungler and the top lane, but they end up losing this bot lane tower, and they sacrificed a lot of farm, a lot of waves, because they moved all 5 members up to the top side, and there isn't an objective to translate to other than the tower. Just looks like Andreas is going to push a little bit further here, but ultimately this is a situation where they aren't picking up the Herald right now, but they have the control. If they want to reset, get up towards the top side, you can see Jolbu still there. They potentially look for this Herald, but now Takeset and Pedersen are joining. This isn't going to be as easy to do.
Jacob's got that damage onto Energy, just chunks him out, but Pedersen comes in, gets himself a 2-man knock-up off, Takeset with a whirling death through the middle of 4, is catching the pool noodles. He's found himself one. Fred is getting chunked out. Takeset's got the ignite, so the healing is interrupted, and Jolbu flashes him forward, finds himself the kill. Andreas and Jacob now making their way forward. The base is coming down, and it looks like they're going to go for the Grand Starfall. Back onto the Zoe they go. Shackle clears the wall with a ward hop, and down goes the jungler. Support, as he will be picked up. A massive fight once again for Atlando.
I can understand why you mistook them, because Shackle's level 8 compared to Jolbu's level 11. So he's feeling like a support right now. Jolbu having a huge game here on the Gragas, and Jacob as well just pops the jungler. Level 8 Shackle, not having a hot game.
Shackle's Lee Sin is looking a little bit like Jolbu's Lee Sin at the moment.
So does that mean he's going to make a 1v9 Baron steal?
You'd hope so. He did just say 1 second I lagged. So
yeah,
we'll
I
see.
think, you know, you blink and, oh, I died? Oh, I must have lagged. No, that's just Zoe fear. Definitely didn't miss Zoe meta for this champion. But ultimately, Atlando having a lot of success. I think the driving force has been the top side of the map. Obviously, we saw Fred and Thor punished in that dive. But Jacob, Jolbu, and Andreas just doing so much work. They have great skirmishing power in the back of their CC, and they're consistently landing all they need to find these kills. The Callista 0, 4, and 1. Definitely not the shy level. Just a rough game so far for the top side off Bifrost. And it's whether Takeset being strong in this Draven can sort of make up for the discrepancy.
Well, we do now kind of see the items coming through. The Bloodthirst has finished up onto Takeset. He's now got the pickaxe and the BF sword for his Infinity Edge as well. So getting closer and closer towards that item, where 4 on his components for his Essence Reaver. So he's 400 gold off, so he should be able to get it fairly quickly, but still not got a full item yet. And you can see, yep, he's actually, yeah, he's got to catch on another couple of waves before he can get that. So he's actually pretty suffering here. As Takeset's going to catch this wave in the bot side. It's a big wave crashing into him. So a lot of additional gold given over to the AD carry for Takeset. Or for Bifrost, Takeset is the AD carry.
Nice observation there. Well, we haven't had a fight in like 15 seconds.
Yeah.
This is a new record.
It's actually not been that long because there was a pause.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely been 15 seconds.
I'd say, yeah, about now.
Oh, it looks like they're setting up for another fight around this dragon. Jolbu's running down. Electrocute Gragas has a ton of burst, but doesn't have the Predator to get in as quick.
Yeah, Takeset's going to have a big chunky shield, but he builds up on this dragon here with that Bloodthirster, so...
I think it's just gone. I think maybe go for the mid tower instead, but actually Pedersen flanking.
Oh, yeah, they get a knock up on the Pedersen from Fred as Jacob. Looking for that paddle star. Andreas has got the Ghost Blade on us. He's looking to find an opening. Everybody's dodging away on a lot of things here. That's going to be the Whirling Death. This is the damage. Fiala's onto the flank. Takes it, flanking away for the moment. Energy's joined into the fight. Pedersen's going low and takes it. Gets a kill onto Fred. Fiala chiting through Jacob for the moment as Jolbu comes in with a belly pop. Gets the cask off. And the turnaround is here for Atlando. They find 2. The Requiem will rain down as Jacob gets chunked out. There is no more follow-up here for Bifrost. Atlando can't go anymore, but Shackle, he's not done actually. He's looking for someone, looking for a Q.
You don't win this.
It's got him 1 versus 3. Shackle realizes his mistake, flushes the wall. Andreas comes in and gets the assassination off.
What
was he doing?
What was the game plan, Shackle?
I mean, I know what the game plan was. The game plan was kill the enemy jungler. That's not how it went.
I mean, I guess the only thing that sort of allowed Andreas to invest his flash to kill him was that I believe Andreas and Jolbu had their CC on cooldown. So it allowed him to survive for a couple of seconds, but that was definitely not a good fight for you. And Shackle massively behind in the jungle. Goal difference, 2,300, 3 levels down. And we're seeing a similar discrepancy between AD carries, although Thor is equal in experience is a big takeaway in this situation. Right now, Andreas leading ahead. Slightly less gold than Takeset, but highest level in the game. A lot of strong members of Atlando, and it really comes down to this Draven to be the carrying force. We saw in that last team fight, Fred did a great job CCing everyone up, but he did end up going down. Thor not able to withstand much longer. And once again, we're looking at this top side of Atlando to round things out. Andreas looking now for Fiala.
Yeah, Fiala's going to look to kite him away. Is able to dodge away on the Aegis, but look at the damage Andreas does. Just mincing through Fiala. Fiala with the Blade of the Ruined King in the works. Just not enough damage to deal here. Not enough survivability with that lifesteal. Well, the Rift Herald getting summoned. It's not even going to get its charge off, so this could be another turret falling here. So they do find Pedersen momentarily. He gets chunked out. Jacob looks for the paddle, looks for the bubble. Isn't going to quite get it.
Owl comes in. Big damage on that tower, so chunked out. They need it. Jacob's just so dangerous.
Uh-oh. Jacob's actually looking for it. They're going to get that sleep off and takes it, gets chunked. Jolbu comes in, misses out on the cask. And everybody's going to be able to make their way away, but that bubble does connect, and Jacob is just going to find himself this kill. No, he can't. The ulti gets popped by Pedersen to make sure he lives.
Allows him to get out of range of the Q, but this Zoe is so scary right now. Just one-shot people left and right. Andreas able to shove a bot lane after Fiala goes down, and Atlando, this could be their win. Nearly 3,000 gold ahead, and they're looking to secure these tier 2 towers, but I don't think they're going to overstay in the top lane. A lot of gold potentially to spend right now. They have to be respectful. If they start to overstay, if they start to get low, that sets up energy to execute them with that ultimate.
It doesn't matter how fed your Draven gets when you got a 6-1 Pantheon, a 6-1 Gragas and a 6-1 Zoe. It is so hard to remain relevant in this game. Infinity Edge now finished up onto take set, so it's expensive item builds are starting to kind of really pop in here. So he's going to do a lot of damage, but it's all about his ability to kite.
I feel like you need a QSS, honestly, as soon as possible for take set, because there's so much CC available for Atlando. And once one hits you, the next one sets up. You get stunned by Andreas, or you get charmed by Fred. Very easy for Joel, but just throw a cask on top. With how fed he is, it's just going to burst through you, and then you're going to be knocked into the enemy team, and they're going to clean up. It doesn't matter how much damage you're doing if you're dead, is the fundamental thing here. Right now, Joel, we're trying to clear out some vision. The rest of the team moving over to respond, and they might look to punish Take Set in the mid. Fred's coming.
Yeah, Take Set gets caught out by the quickness, and he is annihilated. You can't lifesteal through that. The Grand Starfall gets used as well by Andreas, and Jolbu chasing onto Pedersen, knocks him into the pit, as that's so much damage by Jacob. Looking for the bubble, not going to quite connect it though, and Energy has to put up the wall of pain to make sure they can't chase onto that support anymore, but now he's actually found something onto Energy. Energy gets chunked. Jolbu just doing some serious damage on the Gragas. Fiala's now kiting away. They are just on the hunt for blood. We'll be able to clear the wall with a flash, though, as Fred chases here. He is really, really going for this.
Looks like they're not going to overstay and run down that side, not with chase on Fiala, but they get the flash. They got a great kill on the take set, and as I'm saying, you get CC'd by the charm. The follow-up is there from Thor with the root. Really feels like there's nothing you can do once you enter into that CC chain. Now, Fiala, you might actually be caught out here. They're still looking for you.
He's able to get away.
We'll get a sneaky getaway. Nice moves there, but at the end of the day, you're still 0-6.
At least for Bifrost, they did get the second rake, so this isn't mountain point over to Atlando. So they're quite happy to give this one away. And actually looks like the team is sneaking away potentially Baron here. They started it up. The kick's going to come over. So Energy and Shackle are looking just to go straight onto the Baron. The rest of the team are going to try and put some acting in here. Actually, no, they're just going to rush towards and try and help. Fiala's going to try and catch the wave.
Take set's now been seen. He is on ward right now, so they know he's doing this. But no one's moving over to respond. Question mark pings are coming in. This is gone.
Jacob's in the base. They don't have half their damage here.
Atlando, you do it again.
It's given over to Bifrost. Atlando. It's just gone so wrong here. Now they're looking for something. It's Fiala and Pedersen in the mid lane, but they're able to walk away.
We saw a game yesterday where against all odds, Atlando managed to pull out the loss. And we're seeing a similar circumstance here. This should have been your game, Atlando. How could you let this happen? It's just a Baron, but still.
It's what they gain with a Baron. This is the one thing you like to hit on is how much can you get with your Baron?
It's difficult when you're behind is the big difference. But hopefully they can break down that mid turret. That'd be the ideal thing for me. Big Factors has managed to caught up in XP in a lot of areas, get that gold. But ideally, I want to see them break the mid tower. I think pushing any more could be difficult, especially with the engage from Atlando. But we'll see what they make of it. Right now, they're looking towards Andreas. They could potentially look for a pick onto him, using the Lee Sin in tandem with a Calista. Now they got to play. I mean, this is a difficulty. When you're ahead, sure, you can do what you want with the Baron. But just Jacob. Jacob alone on the Zoe is making it extremely difficult to threaten anything because you have to have so much vision to deny the possibility of a Sleepy Trouble Bubble or just a Gragas flying over a wall.
The mid's a very long lane. Shackle actually gets caught out here by Andreas, and now they're looking to turn it around. Do a bit of damage to him as Jolbu gets caught out, and actually it looks like it's Fiala who's caught out. Chilling Smite will connect as they got the Grand Starfall. Fiala gets the blast cone off in time, and that is Jolbu's kill.
Adios. 0-7 now for the Calista top lane. Struggling massively. Take set. Actually gets hit by the sleep.
Oh, Take set's doomed. He flashes, gets knocked up. In comes the paddle star. Take set's down. You need that QSS. You were right.
I think that'd be a good investment about now. Uses both summons as well and still dies. Nice follow-up from Fred. And yeah, the Baron not actually going to amount to much in this situation because when you can't push up against the Zoe, it's just not relevant. Draven's the most fed in the team and he just keeps dying. And that's, I'm not blaming Take Set. It's just really hard to play.
Just standard Draven stuff, really, that is, isn't it?
Yep.
Bubble does land here by Jacob. He's looking for that burst. Isn't going to quite get it. His energy gets chunked out. Gets a 4-man knock-up off. Teleports are coming in. Pedersen looking for the stun. He's unable to find it, and now Thor, he's the one pumping the damage out. Energy's going to try and turn it back around, but Jolbu gets himself the kill. In comes the Requiem, the Whirling Death to follow as well. So we'll rip through a couple of members, but that Requiem is just cancelled out. Fiala trying to get himself something off here, but gets stunned up, and now they're looking to turn it back around. Fiala's going to hold his life at the moment as they're pulling it back. They gets pulled into the team and taken down. A double kill picked up for the Pantheon. Jobu takes out another one. Atlando get themselves the win in an absolute clown fiesta of a game. They take this over and they win.
Even Atlando couldn't throw this one, and they come out with a final win of the
They
split
tried.
for them. And it has been, and I think this is the biggest thing to highlight as they finish up the Nexus. This has been a split for Atlando. Thanks, Jacob.
Well, he just ruined his KDA.
This has been a split for Atlando where we saw in games like that where they have really solid performances and these players do look good. Jolbu was a monster there. Jacob was, Andreas as well. The bot lane, even though they suffered, they got punished, they still managed to come back into the game.
That's Jacob's first win.
But they still get close. Yeah, this is actually Jacob's first win. So
Well,
yeah.
it helps when you're not playing Nami mid, right?
True. But because they obviously had that resurgence with face hit, but then Jacob's come back, and after a performance like that, he absolutely deserves a win. I think the big issue has been that despite the fact they had such a great game, they still nearly managed to throw that, at least by giving away the Baron. Sure, the game was still in their control, but we saw yesterday they threw away a game, and it just makes you think, what could we have from an Atlando who weren't going to throw the game? I think that's the thing to work on, is in those mid to late game situations, looking out for things like the Baron sneak, for the team fight, for your win conditions, what objectives you're looking towards. Because I think all in all, despite a rough split that's going to put Atlando in last place after the final game, there's still a lot of talent here. We're still seeing a lot of good things, and they're able to at least put on some flashy plays against other teams.
They've been really fun to watch, if anything, this split.
I'm a
there's been a lot of questionable mistakes, but there's also been some seriously good plays, there's some seriously bad plays as well in some areas. But for the most part, they've been a fantastic team to watch. It's been great to, it's great for them to end on this win, especially in that fashion where your bot lane's getting that hard smashed and then everyone else just takes over the game. And we were talking about how, this lane should push, this lane should push, this lane should push. Didn't matter. Like, Jacob was an absolute beast on the Zoe. Andreas' Pantheon was looking really, really good. And we've had our criticisms about Jolbu this split.
I've had only praise for my Lord and Savior Jolbu.
Well, his Gragas was pretty clean.
Yeah. Didn't make the 1v9 sort of Lee Sin play, but he made those all game. That's the big difference, you know. Why save yourself the one player game when you can just make them all game long?
Yeah, exactly. Just really, really good stuff across the board there for Atlando. Unfortunately, they are going to still end in last place, but yeah, ending on a high. They're walking out on a high note with their heads held high, just getting themselves a win over Bifrost, and did it in stellar fashion. Now, obviously, that game didn't really mean much as far as the standings go, but our next 3 games really, really do. So this is where everything starts to get heated here in the Nordic Championship. So we're going to cut to a quick break, and when we're back, we'll be back with game 2. It's going to be Hillerod versus Hybrid. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a second.